Hi students, welcome to the role of colors versus fine arts, part 2. Digital painting is a method of creating an art object, painting digitally, and or a technique for making digital art in the computer. As a method of creating an art object, it adopts traditional painting methods such as acrylic, paint, oils, ink, water, etc. and applies the pigment to traditional carriers such as woven, canvas, cloth, paper, polyester, etc. by means of computer software driving industrial robotic or office machinery, printers. As a technique, it refers to a computer graphics software program that uses a virtual canvas and virtual painting box of brushes, colors and other supplies. The virtual box contains many instruments that do not exist outside the computer and which give digital artwork a different look and feel from an artwork that is made the traditional way. Furthermore, digital painting is not computer generated art as the computer does not automatically create images on the screen using some mathematical calculations. On the other hand, the artist uses his own painting technique to create the particular piece of work on the computer. Aside from different painting techniques mentioned above, there are a number of painting styles such as Western, under which you learn modernism, postmodernism, surrealism, realism, abstractism, etc. These styles are associated with certain philosophies of sociology. Contrasting with the Western styles, there are Far Eastern styles of paintings associated with the native and cultural philosophies of the concerned countries. Chinese, Indian, Japanese, etc. are few examples. According to dictionary, sculpture is a visual art of making 2 or 3 dimensional representative or abstract forms, especially by carving stone or wood or by casting a metal or a plaster. It is one of the plastic arts. Durable sculptural processes originally used carving, the removal of material, and modeling, the addition of material such as clay in stone, metal, ceramics, wood and other materials, but since modernism, there has been an almost complete freedom of materials and process. A wide variety of materials may be worked out by carving or by assembling or by welding or by modeling or by molding or casting. Sculpture in stone survives far better than works of art in perishable materials and often represents the majority of the surviving works other than pottery from ancient cultures, though conversely traditions of sculpture in wood may have vanished almost entirely. However, most ancient sculpture was brightly painted and this has been lost. Sculpture has been central in religious devotion in many cultures, and until recent centuries, large sculptures, too expensive for private individuals to create, were usually an expression of religion or politics. Those cultures whose sculptures have survived in quantities include the cultures of the ancient Mediterranean, Indian and China, as well as many in Central and South America and Africa. The Western tradition of sculpture began in ancient Greece that is widely seen as producing great masterpieces in the classical period. During the Middle Ages, Gothic sculpture represented the agonies and passions of the Christian faith. The revival of classical models during the Renaissance produced famous sculptures such as Michelangelo's David. Modernist sculpture moved away from traditional process and the emphasis on depiction of the human body with the making of constructed sculpture and the presentation of found objects as finished artworks. The above 3 visuals in order are the Dying Gaul or the Capitoline Gaul or a Roman marble copy of Hellenistic work of the late 3rd century BCE, Capitoline Museums, Rome, Assyrian, Lamassu Gate, Gordian from Khorsabad, circa 800 to 721 BCE, Michelangelo's Moses, 1513 to 1515, San Pietro in Vincoli, Rome, for the tomb of Pope Julius II. The term sculpture is often used mainly to describe large works which are sometimes called monumental sculpture, meaning either or both of sculpture that is large or that is attached to a building. But the term properly covers many types of small works in 3 dimensions using the same techniques, including coins and medals, hard stone carvings, a term for small carvings in stone that can be taken detailed, that can take detailed work. Modern and contemporary art have added a number of non-traditional forms of sculpture, including sound sculpture, light sculpture, environmental art, environmental sculpture, steel art sculpture, kinetic sculpture involving aspects of physical motion, land art and site-specific art, etc. Sculpture is an important form of public art. A collection of sculpture in a garden setting can be called a sculpture garden. One of the most common purposes of sculpture is in some forms of association with religion. Cult images are common in many cultures, though they are often not the colossal statues of deities which characterized ancient Greek art, like the statue of Zeus at Olympia. The actual cult of images in the innermost sanctuaries of Egyptian temples, of which none have survived, were evidently rather small even in the largest temples. Buddhism brought sculpture of religious figures to East Asia, where there seems to have been no earlier equivalent tradition, though again simple shapes like the Bai and Kong probably had religious significance. Small sculpture as personal possessions go back to the earliest prehistoric art, and the use of very large sculpture as public art, especially to impress the viewer with the power of a ruler, goes back at least to the Great Sphinx some 4,000 years ago. In archaeology and art history, the appearance and sometimes disappearance of large or monumental sculptures in a culture is regarded as of great significance, though tracing the emergence is often complicated by the presumed existence of sculpture in wood and other perishable materials of which no record remains. The totem pole is an example of a tradition of monumental sculpture in wood that would leave no traces for archaeology. Stone sculpture is an ancient activity where pieces of rough natural stone are shaped by the controlled removal of stone. Owing to the permanence of the material, evidence can be found that even the earliest societies indulged in some form of stonework, though not all areas of the world have such abundance of good stone for carving as Egypt, Greece, India and most of Europe. Dance is a performing art form consisting of purposefully selected sequences of human movement. This movement has aesthetic and symbolic and is acknowledged as dance by performers and observers within a particular culture. Dance can be categorized and described by its choreography, by its repertoire of movements, or by its historical period or place of origin. An important distinction is to be drawn between the context of theatrical and participatory dance, although these two categories are not always completely separate. Both may have special functions, whether social, ceremonial or sacred or liturgical. Other forms of human movement are sometimes said to have dance-like quality, including martial arts, gymnastics, karate, skating, synchronized swimming, marching, bands and many other forms of aesthetics. Archaeological evidence for early dance includes 9,000-year-old paintings in India at the rock shelters of Bhimbetka and Egyptian tomb paintings depicting dancing figures dated 3300 BC. It has been proposed that before the invention of written languages, dance was an important part of the oral and performance methods, passing stories down from one generation to the next. The use of dance in ecstatic trance states and healing rituals, as observed today in many contemporary primitive cultures, from the Brazilian rainforest to the Kalahari desert, is thought to have been another easy factor in the social development of dance. Reference to dance can be found in very early recorded history. Greek dance horos is referred to by Plato, Aristotle, Lucian to many events related to dance and contain over 30 different dance terms. In Chinese pottery as well as the Neolithic period, groups of people are depicted dancing in line holding hands. The earliest Chinese word for dance is found written in the oracle bones. Dance is further described in the Lushi Chenkyu. Primitive dance in ancient China was associated with sorcery and shamanic rituals. During the first millennium BCE in India, many texts were composed which attempted to codify aspects of daily life. Bharatamuni's Rajshastra, literally text of dramaturgy, is one of the earliest texts. It mainly deals with drama, in which dance plays an important part in Indian culture. It categorizes dance into 4 types: secular, ritual, abstract and interpretive, and into 4 regional varieties. The text elaborates various hand gestures, mudras, and classifies movements of the various limbs, steps and so on. A strong continuous tradition of dance has since continued in India through its modern times, where it continues to play a role in culture, ritual and notably the Bollywood entertainment industry. Many other contemporary dance forms can likewise be traced back to historical, traditional, ceremonial and ethnic dance. Dance is generally thought not exclusively performed with the accompaniment of music and may or may not be performed in time to such music. Some dance, such as tap dance, may provide its own audible accompaniment in place of music. Many early forms of music and dance were created for each other and are frequently performed together. Notable examples of traditional dance music couplings include the jig, waltz, tango, disco and salsa. Some musical genres have a parallel dance form such as Baroque music and Baroque dance. Over other varieties of dance and music may share nomenclature but developed separately, such as classical music and classical ballet. Drama is the specific mode of fiction represented in performance, a play, opera, mime, ballet, etc., performed in theatre or on radio or television. Considered as a genre of poetry, in general, the dramatic mode has been contrasted with the epic and the lyrical modes ever since Aristotle's Poetics, the earliest work of dramatic theory. The term drama comes from a Greek word meaning action, which is derived from I do. The two masks associated with drama represent the traditional generic division between comedy and tragedy. In English, as was in the analogous case in many other European languages, the word play or game, translating the Anglo-Saxon plegon or Latin ludus, was the standard term for dramas until William Shakespeare's time, just as its creator was a playmaker rather than a dramatist, and the building was a playhouse rather than a theatre. The use of drama in a more narrow sense to designate a specific type of play dates from the modern era. Drama in this sense refers to a play that is neither a comedy nor a tragedy. For example, Zola's Thyrsis Requiem 1873 or Chekhov's Ivanov. It is this narrower sense that the film and television along with film studies adopted to describe drama as genre with their respective media. The term radio drama has been used in both senses. Originally transmitted in a live performance may also refer to the more highbrow and serious end of the dramatic output of radio. The enactment of drama in theatre performed by actors on a stage before an audience presupposes collaborative modes of production and a collective form of reception. The structure of dramatic text, unlike other forms of literature, is directly influenced by this collaborative production and collective reception. Mime is a form of drama where the action of a story is told only through the movement of the body. Drama can be combined with music. The dramatic text in opera is generally sung throughout, as for in some ballets dance expresses or imitates emotion, character and narrative action. Musicals include both spoken dialogue and songs, and some forms of drama have incidental music or musical accompaniment underscoring the dialogue. Melodrama and Japanese number, for example. Closet drama is a form that is intended to be read rather than performed. In improvisation, the drama does not pre-exist the moment of performance. Performers devise a dramatic script spontaneously before an audience. The earliest form of Indian drama was the Sanskrit drama. Between the 1st century AD and the 10th was a period of relative peace in the history of India, during which hundreds of plays were written. With the Islamic conquest that began in the 10th and 11th centuries, theatre was discouraged or forbidden entirely. Later, in an attempt to reassert indigenous values and ideas, village theatre was encouraged across the subcontinent, developing in various regional languages from 5th to 15th to 19th centuries. Modern Indian theatre developed during the period of colonial rule under the British Empire from the mid-19th century until the mid-20th. The earliest surviving fragments of Sanskrit drama date from the 1st century AD. The wealth of archaeological evidence from earlier periods offers no indication of the existence of a tradition of theatre. The ancient Vedas, hymns from between 1500 and 1000 BC that are among the earliest examples of literature in the world contain no hint of it, although a small numbers are composed in a form of dialogue, and the rituals of the Vedic period do not appear to have developed into theatre. The Mahabhashya by Patanjali contains the earliest reference to what may have been the seeds of Sanskrit drama. This treatise on grammar from 140 BC provides a feasible date for the beginnings of theatre in India. The major source of evidence for Sanskrit theatre is a treatise on theatre, Natyasastra, a compendium whose date of composition is uncertain. Estimates range from 200 BC to 200 AD, and whose authorship is attributed to Bharat Muni. The treatise is the most complete work of dramaturgy in the ancient world. It addresses acting, dance, music, dramatic construction, architecture, costuming, makeup, props, the organization of the companies, the audience, the competitions, and offers a mythological account of the origin of theatre. Its drama is regarded as the highest achievement of Sanskrit literature. It utilized stock characters such as the hero, Nayaka, heroine, Naika, or clown, Vidushaka. Actors may have specialized in a particular type. It was patronized by the kings as well as village assemblies. Famous early playwrights including Bhasa, Kalidasa, famous for Vikram and Urvashi, Malavika and Agnimitra, and the recognition of Shakuntala. Sudraka, famous for the little clay cart. Ashwaghosha, Dandin and Emperor Harsha, famous for Nagananda, Ratnavali, Priyadarshika. Shakuntala. In English translation, influenced Gothe's fast. Music is an art form and cultural activity whose medium is sound organized in time. General definitions of music includes common elements such as pitch, which governs melody and harmony, rhythm and its associated concepts tempo, meter and articulation, dynamics, loudness and softness, and sonic qualities of timbre and texture, which are sometimes termed the color of musical sound. Different styles or types of music may emphasize, de-emphasize or omit some of these elements. Music is performed with a vast range of instruments and vocal techniques ranging from singing to rapping. There are solely instrumental pieces, solely vocal pieces such as songs without instrumental accompaniment, and pieces that combine singing and instruments. The word derives from Greek music, art of the muses. See glossary of musical terminology. In its most general form, the activities describing music as an art form or cultural activity include the creation of works of music, songs, tunes, symphonies and so on. Criticism of the music, the study of the history of music and the aesthetic examination of music. Ancient Greek and ancient Indian philosophers defined music as tones, ordered horizontally as melodies and vertically as harmonies. Common saying such as the harmony of the spheres and it is music to my ears point to the notion that music is often ordered and pleasant to listen to. However, 20th century composer John Cage thought that any sound can be music, saying, for example, there is no noise, only sound. The creation, performance, significance and even the definition of music vary according to culture and social context. Indeed, throughout the history, some new forms or styles of music have been criticized as not being music, including Beethoven's Fugue string quarter in 1825, early jazz in the beginning of the 1900s and hardcore punk in the 1980s. There are many types of music including popular music, traditional music, art music, music written for religious ceremonies and work songs such as chantes. Music ranges from strictly organized composition such as classical music, symphonies from the 1700s and 1800s through to some spontaneously play improvisational music such as jazz and avant-garde styles of chance-based contemporary music from the 20th to 21st centuries. Music can be divided into genres, example country music, and genres can be further divided into subgenres, example country blues and pop country are two of the many country subgenres. Although the dividing lines and relationships between music genres are often subtle, sometimes open to personal interpretation and occasionally controversial. For example, it can be hard to draw the line between some early 1980s hard rock and heavy metal. Within the arts, music may be classified as a performing art, a fine art or as an auditory art. Music may be played or sung and heard live at a rock concert or orchestra performance, heard live as part of dramatic work. A music theatre, show or opera, or it may be recorded and listened to on a radio, MP3 player, CD player, smartphone or as film score or TV show. In many cultures, music is an important part of people's way of life as it plays a key role in religious rituals, rite of passage ceremonies, example graduation and marriage, social activities, example dancing and cultural activities ranging from amateur karaoke singing to play in an amateur funk band or singing in a community choir. People may make music as a hobby like a team playing cello in a youth orchestra or work as a professional musician or singer. The music industry includes the individuals who create new songs and musical pieces such as songwriters and composers, individuals who perform music which include orchestra, jazz band and rock band, musicians, singers and conductors, individuals who record music, music producers and sound engineers, individuals who organize concert tours and individuals who sell recording sheet music and scores to customers. Music is composed and performed for many purposes ranging from aesthetic pleasure, religious or ceremonial purposes or as an entertainment product of the marketplace. When music was only available through sheet music scores, such as during the classical and romantic eras, music lovers would buy the sheet music of their favorite pieces and songs so that they could perform them at home on the piano. With the advent of sound recording, records of popular songs rather than sheet music became the dominant way the music lovers would enjoy their favorite songs. With the advent of home tape recorders in the 1980s and the digital music in the 1990s, music lovers could make tapes or playlists of their favorite songs and take them with them on a portable cassette player or MP3 player. Some music lovers create mixtapes of their favorite songs which serve as a self-portrait, a gesture of friendship, prescription for an ideal party, and an environment consisting of solely of what is the most ardently loved. Amateur musicians can compose or perform music for their own pleasure and derive their income elsewhere. Professional musicians are employed by range of institutions and organizations including armed forces, in marching bands, concert bands and popular music groups, churches and synagogues, symphony orchestras, broadcasting or film production companies and music schools. Professional musicians sometimes work as freelancers or session musicians seeking contracts and engagements in a variety of settings. There are often many links between amateur and professional musicians. Beginning amateur musicians take lessons with professional musicians. In community settings, advanced amateur musicians perform with musicians in a variety of ensembles such as community concert, bands and community orchestra. A distinction is often made between music performed for a live audience and music that is performed in a studio so that it can be recorded and distributed through the music retail system or the broadcasting system. However, there are also many cases where a live performance in front of an audience is also recorded and distributed. Live concert recordings are popular in both classical music and in popular music forms such as rock, where illegally live concerts are prized by music lovers. In the jam band scene, live improvised jam sessions are preferred to studio recordings. Music theory encompasses the nature and mechanics of music. It often involves identifying patterns that govern composers, techniques and examining the language and the notation of music. In a grand sense, music theory distills and analyzes the parameters or elements of music: rhythm, harmony and harmonic function, melody, structure, form and texture. Broadly, music theory may include any statement, belief or conception of or about music. People who study these properties are known as music theorists. Some have applied acoustics, human physiology and psychology to the explanation of how and why music is perceived. The lesson has dealt with a range of the spectrum of fine arts. Starting with the definition of arts and specifically fine arts, the lesson has explained to the learners of visual communication how fine arts offer a promising area of learning that really enriches and empowers them. Though these fine arts are considered as plastic arts due to the possibility of combining them in various permutations, I have tried to present the cultural depth of each fine art in its independent status. While I could explain some arts in their vivid details, including descriptions of various elements, together with visuals, some arts like dance, drama and music have been dealt with on a limited scale, keeping the time constants in mind. Most of these arts do constitute aesthetics. In fact, the available literature has mostly unearthed the resources available from the West. But to know about the availability of the same literature from the side of India, I need to struggle a lot. In addition to the time constraints as mentioned above, the same literary resources available for appreciating the Indian ancient contributions to these arts would be mentioned elsewhere.